Two ago, action camera company VanTop asked us if we wanted to review a new action camera from them. The Moment 4 action camera sells for $80 on Amazon and says it has 4K resolution at 24 frames per second, 2K at 30 frames per second, 1080p at 60 frames per second, and 720p at 120 frames per second. The Moment also claims to have 20 megapixel photo quality and image stabilization. With GoPros costing as much as a car payment, we thought it'd be fun to check out the Moment 4 and see if it's a worthy POV camera for riders who don't want to sell their carbon parts on Craigslist in order to afford something like a GoPro or a Rilo. I got the Moment 4 in between snowstorms, so it took a while to get out and log some time in on it, but it gave me a chance to play with it a little bit and figure out the settings before I took it out on the trail. Setup is pretty straightforward and a lot simpler than figuring out a pro tune like on a GoPro. You pretty much just figure out the resolution, frame rate, the field of view, sharpness, color, and white balance. I left as much possible on auto as I could, and the color seemed to be at its highest potential that way. I left the sharpness at normal, recorded the field of view in wide, and the recording at 4K. Most people are going to use a camera like this in 4K at 24 frames per second for POV footage anyway, so that's where I left it. The VanTop suggests downloading an app called Cam King to get started, which can be found easily in Apple and Android app stores. The Cam King lets you see what the camera is seeing from your phone, so you can hook the Moment up to your body or your bike or whatever and adjust the angle without taking the camera down or reviewing the footage and trying again. The problem with Cam King is that it's slow to use and freezes frequently, so I just figured out the angle I needed, and I tried to keep it there the whole time. The Moment 4 is pretty light at 67 grams. It doesn't look too bad either, and the interface and camera functionality works well too. The menu settings are easy to navigate, and the camera system hasn't frozen on me yet. You hold the power button down to turn it on, and press the record button to start, and it audibly says video start or video stop. If it's been on a while, it takes a tap to wake it up on the record button, and then another push down to stop or start the video again. Overall, it's a pretty easy interface to navigate and to use. It also comes with a lot of accessories. It comes with several different mounts, comes with a waterproof case, a 32GB memory card, an extra battery, adhesive mounts, straps, a wrist-strapped recording button, a J-mount, great for chest harnesses, a balled-up backpack, cables, more adhesives, and more mounts. If you watch a lot of mountain biking YouTubers like Nate Hills, BKXC, Seth's Bike Hacks, or Single Track Sampler, you'll notice a few things about their setups which are pretty consistent for most of them. They record at 4K and either 24 or 30 frames per second, which is why I stuck with these settings, and they avoid waterproof cases because then you can't get good audio. They also use a chest mount harness, so I did too, because it seems to be the most exciting angle for POV mountain biking. The problem with using the Moment 4 for mountain biking is that it comes with a dinky adapter to use with a threaded 1/4 inch mount. It was awkward and impossible to get the angle of the camera right. I twisted it too hard at one point to get the angle right, and it tore the 1/4 inch mount out of the bottom of the camera. Without that, you have to use a waterproof case, and then you don't get any usable audio. So I kind of just pushed it back in together, and it held up well enough to get some more testing done on single track with audio, even though it still snapped off easily. To try and muffle wind noise, I used some double-sided tape and a little piece of cutout foam. Sometimes it helped and sometimes it didn't. I used the GoPro on this day also, and it was really windy in the area, and the GoPro also struggled with wind noise. So here you go. Here is some of the VanTop Moment 4 footage shot in 4K on the Oil Well Flats trails in Canyon City, Colorado. A few things to note on them. Even though it's in 4K, it's not that sharp or detailed. It really loses details in the background, like the mountains in the distance. The color is kind of flat and not very rich or exciting. But again, this is only an $80 camera. The electronic stabilization doesn't do a whole lot, and there's still a lot of shake, which can of course be fixed with a gimbal. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It is relatively smooth, although rocky parts are going to be the worst. The biggest thing I noticed was the resolution. 4K doesn't really look like 4K on the Moment 4, and resolution isn't everything in terms of cameras. Sensors arguably make a bigger difference, and although the Moment touts a Sony-made sensor, it's probably not a very big one, and usually the larger the sensor, the better the photo or video quality. The camera also struggled with transitioning light either from dark to light or vice versa, and shooting towards the sun resulted in some very, very streaky flaring, whether it was in photo or video. The photo quality didn't turn out good either, for it supposedly being a 20 megapixel camera. If you have a cell phone camera, which most people do these days, the camera on it is probably going to be better than the VanTop photos. The most annoying thing about the photo function on the VanTop though is that when you go to snap a photo, there's serious lag time, and then it announces that it's taking a photo. Please just take the photo without announcing. I already know it's going to take a photo because I've switched it to photo mode. So VanTop, if you're listening, just snap the photo without an announcement. Now, it feels like I've bashed on the VanTop quite a bit as far as the resolution and some of the functionality goes, but for $80, it's not that bad of a camera. It comes with a lot of accessories, it's easy to use, and any photographer or videographer should start with a camera, something cheap like the VanTop, to learn the fundamentals and work their way up. It's a more rewarding process than going straight for the most expensive camera when you're starting out anyway. So if you're not going to geek out on resolution or be picky about frame rates and low light performance and just want a camera that you can record some rides with, the Moment 4 isn't a bad choice. If they updated a few things like the accessories and made them better for mountain biking and maybe included a frame instead of a waterproof case with a better 1/4-inch mount and attachment, it'd be a big improvement. When it comes to determining its worth, that's where it gets subjective. At $80, it's not a huge investment, and if you just want a basic camera to record some rides, the Moment 4 will do the trick. Just be gentle on the adapters. Thanks for watching the review. For daily mountain bike news, check out singletracks.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the trails.